The S&P 500 risk premium shrank to near zero this week, which is the lowest level since 2002. There's something called an equity risk premium. It's basically a measurement to show whether or not investors should invest in equities over safer assets such as US Treasury bond yields. What does this mean? It means that the risk on, risk off bet that investors should potentially take in equities such as the S&P 500 over bond yields is very weak. It means that most investors theoretically should just walk over and invest in bonds instead of the stock market. So does this mean that everything is over, this bull run is over, the bubble has popped? Well, not necessarily. A low ERP might seem to suggest a warning sign for stocks, but historical data reveals mixed implications. In some periods with similarly low ERPs, like from 1983 to 2008, the S&P 500 still delivered solid returns. Now, this is still dangerous for the overall market, and it does point towards a crash likely incoming, especially if this breaks sub-zero. That means there's no reason to invest in stocks, and we're very close to that level. Now, we got a lot of stuff to talk about in today's video. First things first, Elon Musk tweeted, "The hammer of justice is coming." Ultimately, what this means for our quote-unquote meme stocks, our short squeeze plays, Dogecoin, it's bullish. It means there's likely news that is going to play out in our favor, whether it's the next month or the next 2 years. Now, I gotta give a shout out to French AMC Ape over on Twitter for calling this out October 26th, saying nobody is talking about November 14th. This is the date where hedge funds have to file their 13F filing forms. Let's see how many shares they bought since May. Boom. Vanguard added 15% more shares over in AMC. But we can't forget about Gamestop. Vanguard added an additional 7.41 million shares of GameStop as well. And one of the best, if not the best performing hedge fund of all time, Renaissance Technologies, increased their stake in GameStop by 40%, adding 549,328 shares last quarter, bringing their total share count to 1.9 million shares roughly. The last time they specifically held this many shares was in late 2019, and then obviously 2020, 2021, leading into that squeeze, they probably made out a lot of money. Now, this is AMC during the January 2021 run-up. This little parallel channel, pay attention. This is the June run-up right before. This parallel channel broke out of the top, kind of broke out of the bottom, faked out. This is where we're at now. Again, this is the 1 hour time frame. These are both 3 hour time frames, meaning AMC could take a little bit longer, or obviously this just crushed down would show you that things are lining up very similarly, right? The June run-up, it broke out to the top before squeezing higher, this time breaking out to the bottom before potentially squeezing higher. Ultimately, we're in this point of interest. I told you AMC doesn't give you much warning signs. However, this is one of them in my opinion, trading into this parallel channel, potentially awaiting a breakout. Now, another reason I say that is because, well, first of all, it's up 2% on the day, trading at 466 for those who can't see that or who don't know. Ethereum Classic and AMC track each other. As you can see, Ethereum Classic recently got this little pop. I have the charts overlaid just to show you that if you haven't been following the channel for a while and you don't know that. Now, XRP is also scaling higher, up 6% on the day. Breaking out of this flag that it traded at, came back down to kind of want to test it, and now it's scaling higher. More and more momentum that XRP has and Ethereum Classic has, the more likely AMC is going to gap up with them. XRP is at 72 cents. It's likely to make its way to my first price target at 85 cents, then potentially $1.14, $1.62, $2.10, so on and so forth as AMC starts to scale higher. Now, short exempts were 277,000 on the 13th of November for AMC. We can see yesterday, AMC tried to break out up here and it got shut down with these short exempts. Clearly extremely high. 2 days prior, we saw 500,000. What happened 2 days prior on the 11th? AMC came to the top of the channel again. So whenever we're at the top, they are dropping tons of short exempts on it. We are winning on the options chain, and it's getting close to Friday. 58,000 calls expiring in the money compared to 22,000 puts. Then a ton of premium going to market makers, 167,000 calls expiring out of the money, which is not a good thing to see. GameStop trading at 27.38, up 3.5%. Really can't be mad about this. we have a picture perfect chart breaking out of this flag, testing the next level of descending resistance, basing on the top of the flag, getting another wave up, breakout, breaking our first price target at 25 to 25.30, in fact gapping over it right here, and then building this nice flag sort of to get ready to break out. And overall the momentum is strong. You can see that it didn't even want to finish out this flag. It just channel traded very quickly and it wants to move up. Okay, so I'm excited for GameStop, and I didn't close any positions, not calls, not shares. I'm holding all of them. GameStop also had a ton of short exempts dropped on it for 3 days in a row, over 130,000. So that's important to note. We are cooking on the options chain with 42,000 calls expiring in the money compared to no puts, and then 64,000 premium going to market makers. Not a good thing to see. But again, we are crushing on the options chain, potentially lead to some gamma squeezing on Monday, right? Well, tomorrow as well, but ultimately Monday, we may see another green Friday for GameStop. Now we need to talk about crypto. Today, the Pennsylvania House of Representatives introduced legislation that would enable the state to hold Bitcoin on its balance sheet as a reserve asset, and a broader movement to recognize Bitcoin as a store of value, which is extremely important because the more states that adopt this, and potentially we do it as a nation, like Donald Trump wants to do, wants the Federal Reserve to have that stockpile of Bitcoin, the more and more it's going to drive up demand. And if you're already in Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin, the more it is likely to increase the value of your Bitcoin. Now, that is not it. Trump just nominated pro-Bitcoin Congressman Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. Gaetz tableted a bill requiring the Internal Revenue Service to accept Bitcoin payments, so more positive news for Bitcoin. The U.S. Justice Department is investigating crypto predictions betting platform Polymarket for allegedly accepting trades from U.S.-based users. I mean, what company wouldn't do this in an environment like this? They wanted a quick cash grab with everybody dumping into this market. Right, all retail coming in. Polymarket said, yeah, you know what, we're going to accept trades from any users, from US-based users, potentially, right? Allegedly, this is still an ongoing case. And ultimately, this is probably just causing a little bit of markets to kind of trade sideways and hang out a little bit. On top of that, Coinbase officially listed Pepe. Now we're going to talk about Bitcoin, Pepe, and Dogecoin really quick. Obviously, Pepe took off because of this, and we really need to touch on that. In the past cycle, when Coinbase listed different assets, we saw them jump majorly. That is because a lot of retail is using Coinbase and using that platform to purchase. Now, Bitcoin is trading at 88,800, down about 2%, getting a minor pullback, and people are freaking out. I want to explain to you what Bitcoin normally does. It has these consolidation periods before large moves, and they normally last 4 to 10 days, but recently 4 days. 4 days back here, large push down, 4 days back here, large push down, 4 days right here, large push up, 4 days right here, and potentially we are going to see a large push up late tomorrow, coming into Saturday, because tomorrow is going to end the 4th day for this little consolidation period on Bitcoin to move us higher. Now, this is the 1 hour time frame, so keep that in mind. Now, what are these percentages here for? Well, if we were looking at Bitcoin on the 4 hour time frame and kind of correlating it to the previous moves Bitcoin saw, not too sure why my drawings disappeared there for a second. If we were correlating this to the previous run up, what we saw was these platforms again when Bitcoin had these large moves. So you look at the bottom for the first move up, you have about a 14% move. You look at the bottom for the first move up, you have about a 15% move here. Same thing, next leg up, about a 20% move before consolidating, 21% move before consolidating. That's where we're at now. Now we consolidate between 85 and 93. And then what happens after you wait that 4 to 10 day period, you ultimately should have another 20%. And then another 15%. Theoretically, Bitcoin has had 1% extra over here, so up over here, right? So ultimately, next push for Bitcoin should bring us up to about 113K. Final push after that should bring us theoretically between 130 and 134,000. This is again theoretical, just based on the past jumps Bitcoin had, and it likes to do the same thing several times. Ultimately, I've said it time and time again, this looks like the first leg up. However, we are seeing warning signs even within the whole market. I'm going to explain to you that I'm still bullish. Pepe just, you know what, actually, Pepe just broke out higher out of a technical pattern, and I'm going to buy some right now because I was waiting for this. Should have gotten an alert on this. Let's do, okay, we are in Pepe. Just loaded up 15K worth of Pepe. Dogecoin, I think I'm going to jump back into Dogecoin right now because of the move Pepe is having. Perfect. Okay, we are in those. Pepe is taking off. Just saw a technical breakout here. All right, obviously, Pepe had a massive rally, was up 90% the other day. Now on the 1 hour time frame, you can see us breaking under levels. What I was going to talk about was these orange levels are tough resistance or tough support per se. And we came down and we reached tough support, the first level of it, which obviously we just got to bounce out and break out of a technical pattern, which is a great thing to see. And ultimately, now that Pepe has done this, you're either going to drag another trend line and wait for a breakout, or you're going to see a higher push to what I would like to say is the first strong resistance at around 40237. Okay, so that's what we're watching. Then you have another level over here. Ultimately, if Pepe goes higher, which is likely to, here are some levels if you want to screenshot this all the way up to 4037, 4039, so on and so forth. Overall, it's looking great. Just had a technical breakout here. Another thing, and yeah, Dogecoin consolidating at this level. Dogecoin broke a technical ascending support trend line, which normally, right, you see this scale higher and then consolidate, and ultimately you could see a flush, a very fast flush down to 29 cents. Be aware of that fast flush down to 29 cents. The way Pepe is moving just leads me to think that that flush may not happen on Dogecoin. Okay, so I'm excited for that. However, we have resistance at 40 cents. We have resistance at 42 cents. These are the strong levels of resistance. And then you have a little bit more right above 42 cents, right above 41 cents in this zone right here. So that's what we're watching. Ultimately, Dogecoin is holding up one level of support above another, which is a good thing to see. However, I would have called both of these weak support. So one of these supports at 38 and then one of these supports at 37. Ultimately, Dogecoin now getting a pop after Pepe, which is why I just added some. Looking at it on the 1 hour time frame, watch for more volume to kick in and pick up. Now, what scared me here with Dogecoin is if you look at the volume increase, when the volume increased, it was above this demand zone. Now, when the volume increased to the same level, it was below this demand zone. I actually got a rejection candle. What I need now from this candle here and the next one after on the 1 hour time frame is to surpass this volume candle, Ultimately, this 1 hour candle should look like this, okay? It should surpass that volume. It should surpass 600 million in volume, and right now it's at 355 million. We have about 8 minutes left of this candle, I believe. So ultimately, we need to see a lot more trading here, a lot more buying on Dogecoin. As of right now, this is the channel you're trading in. This is the decision zone. I don't want to spend too much time on it. This video is probably getting long. Last but not least, U.S. jobless claims rise 217,000, estimated 224, and previously were 221. SPY clearly got a breakdown below support at 596.80. Ultimately holding structural support between 594.85 and 595.85. If we break below, that's fine. I have a strong support at 592.60. That is ultimately where I'm watching the SPY to potentially come down to before us getting another breakout and rip to the top of this channel. Again, everything could crash. Take this with a grain of salt. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't give financial advice, all that other stuff. If you are not in the Discord yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Come talk with me on the daily. Come talk with the most amazing people who want to become financially free like yourselves, who talk stocks and crypto all day long. I also post my trades as soon as I enter them. We post our gains, post our losses, and yeah, best vibes. We are almost at 1,000 members, so if you're not in, join now, guys. The link is in the description. And if you haven't joined any Discords before and you've been watching videos and you've been trying to trade stocks and crypto, guys, level yourself up. It's time. It's super cheap. I'm not overcharging like other YouTubers. Super cheap for the benefits you get out of it. And for those who are advanced in the Discord, in the same tier, you're getting access to dark pool trade orders that come through, option sweep orders, insider trades, market news, and more. AI bots sending it your way. So the value out of it, top link, definitely worth it. Also, if you want up to 15 free stocks, each valued up to 2,000 per stock, you can see this link in the description for Moomoo. It'll take you here. Then you press join Moomoo. Once you create an account through them, it's free, and deposit into your account, you're getting up to 15 free stocks. On top of that, a $30 cash reward. You're earning 8.1% APY on your cash when it's sitting and not in a stock or trade or anything like that. You're also getting level 2 order book data for free, access to trading options, going long, going short, viewing other exchanges, and more as a retail trader. So make sure to go do that, guys. The link is in the description. And if you want my custom indicator, you can get it for 14 days for free. I promise you, no strings attached. Pattern detection, it detects patterns in stocks, gives you price targets and forecasts what the stock might do. So go see what it says about Dogecoin, Pepe over the next 10 days, or you can adjust the time frame to the next 100 days, so on and so forth. That is it. I love you all. Go subscribe to the second channel. It's the top link in the description. God bless. Lottery Stocks out.